Hello and welcome to the Extreme Z Podcast, the only Dokkan podcast making your favorite talk show format relevant again. I'm your host, Epic Mewtwo, aka Dokkan Assets.
And I'm your co-host, Kayvon.
And welcome to episode 47 of the Extreme Z Podcast. How are y'all doing today? I'm not doing so well.
I feel tired, so we're both not in the best shape, probably.
I'm tired. But no, I'm feeling a little bit under the weather, and Kayvon is just kind of sleeping on the job over here. You know him, always slack. No, I'm just kidding. But for real though,
someone didn't make us record this time. No, I'm kidding.
Wait, if I didn't what?
Make us record this late at night.
Well, I mean, isn't this your preferred time anyway?
Maybe.
Okay, got him. Anyhow, though, so if I sound a little bit unenthusiastic, just know it's not my intention. It's because my brain is currently collapsing in on itself like the polar ice caps. Moving on, let's go talk about the news. I know, what a great metaphor.
Alrighty.
We don't have much. That wasn't a political take, by the way. That was more so just a ice cap melting
story.
Listen, bro, you ever seen Ice Age?
Yeah.
Honestly, I'm not even gonna lie, bro. That's what was on my mind when I said that. I was thinking of what movie is that when they're like running away from the ice melting or something like that?
I don't know.
I don't remember. It doesn't matter. This isn't the Ice Age podcast. This is a Dokkan podcast. So let's get unless we're gonna talk about Scrat's character for the next hour.
Exactly.
What a great time. Alright, well, anyway, let's go ahead and get started here with JP. A lot of this is probably going to be the same, just a little FYI, because obviously, since it is the dual celebration, it is, basically all the same. So let's go ahead and get started here. We do have a teaser, well, I guess we did have a teaser at this point, for a brand new stage of the Infinite Dragon Ball History event, which did end up releasing. It's basically just fighting Legend Buu, except labeled as Infinite Dragon Ball History because you fight all the forms of Buu. There was also an error on JP. Adiadum, the target items have been added. Target item, Awakening Metal, Longest Old. Training item, Kame Jirisu Stones, bracket, Speed, and bracket. Beautiful, I know.
I get it.
Basically, some of the icons for some of the items were not properly displayed, so they fixed that up. Yeah,
makes sense.
For those particular items, long, old, bracket, speed, bracket.
Definitely know exactly what that is.
Of course, good. I believe it's the old kind, another item though. But anyway, no, there was a patch. I just realized. Hold up. Wait, there's not this much news. I knew there was something wrong. I was looking at last month, bro.
Well.
I was looking at 8/18, not 9, whatever it would be.
Say, that sounds a bit like not where we're at currently.
Yeah, I don't know. Also, I don't even think that DBZ's face updated for JP.
Did it not?
No, because the last one is the 13th.
Really?
Yeah, so guess what? You get to just read global news because it's literally the exact same. Yay! We're keeping that in, by the way.
Alright, I got you. Alright, so on to global news then. We'll start with Vegeta's legendary summon went live with him and Maj Vegeta. The other Kai banner reset. We got the Take on Majin Buu Spirit Bomb campaign. Just do a bunch of missions, all that stuff. Yeah, we got the rewards for the Global versus JP little competition. Global won. They got the winner Goku, and JP got the loser Vegeta, except we all know that we wanted the opposite.
JP actually threw to get Vegeta.
Yeah, they probably did, let's be honest. But hey, oh, God.
I was just gonna say, if you're curious, because I don't know if this is clear to everybody, unless you've been playing for the game, for a long time. Yes, play the game, excuse me, for a long time. Essentially, well, the little bit of history is that it's been kind of a thing. I don't think last year it was, but definitely won the prize card for 250 mil was the Super Saiyan Goku and the Final Form Frieza. JP threw the little competition on purpose so they could get the Frieza. The whole idea is that because there's so many Super Saiyan Gokus in the game, you can't really run him on many teams because obviously you would rather be running a way better Super Saiyan Goku, and not to mention there's so many of them in the game. And obviously with Frieza, you know, there's a lot less Final Form Friezas in the game, so you would want to get that guy so you could run him. Same idea with the Vegeta here. This is this is actually like one of only a few Super Saiyan. You're good. Super Saiyan Angel Vegetas. Because isn't the LR Super Saiyan 2 as well?
Yeah, I believe so, yeah.
Yeah, but the Goku is just a normal Super Saiyan Goku. So, again, it's like, you know, there's a billion of our mans in the game. So, players would rather have the Vegeta because obviously you, you know, have less options for that name. Although, in the grand scheme of things, I do think that the Goku is a better card stat-wise. But obviously, I suppose even in greater grand scheme of things, Vegeta's technically the better card because even though his like stats and abilities are less, he's a lot more usable than the Goku is. So
they're both nice cards, though. At the end of the day,
yeah, 100%. And wait, I was just gonna say real quick. The other thing as well to keep in mind with that specifically is you will probably be able to get the other version of the card on both versions of the game. Because if you remember with 5th year anniversary, they actually had in the shop the other side's winner / loser card depending on the celebration, and you could buy that particular card. Like we have the Cell and the Hercule, and then you could buy the other one on the version that you didn't get that particular card. So that was pretty cool. So if you do want that Vegeta on Global, chances are during 6th year anniversary, I know it's a while to wait obviously, but you'll still be able to get him then, and then on JP you could still buy the Goku if you wanted to. So yeah, a good opportunity nonetheless.
Yeah.
Good stuff. All right.
Speaking of stuff, Global got top grossing. Wow, only 14 stones because only 2 countries so far.
Also, since we're technically not looking at the JP version of this, I guess I'll just say JP also got top grossing, and they got 30 stones.
Yeah, you're right.
Yep.
Regardless, the Showdown, the Ultimate Final Battle story event where we got Hercule and Boo, went down to be updated with the new EZA Oob Youth, so you can run with the LR. But very unexpected. Everybody thought this is part 3. Sadly, it wasn't, but it's still a nice little bit of extra content to tide over the celebration with, foreshadowing our discussion at later on.
Oh, yeah, it was cool though. It was interesting. I will say, it's sort of a mixed bag for me because, like, on one hand, they definitely could have just called this part 3, but at the same time, I definitely don't feel like it was enough to warrant calling it part 3. So just making it an addition to part 2 is probably the smarter move.
Yeah, and along with that, the EZA area. Oh boy, got updated for Oob as well.
You doing good over there, kid?
My throat's being a little whack, so sorry about that.
Hog sinking.
Very nice. Oh yeah, server maintenance for Global got announced, which basically we're probably going to learn what's coming after the worldwide celebration on the 29th. Very, very nice. Wonder who it's going to be.
Yeah, that is going to be from the 29th to the 30th, by the way. Because obviously with Global, it's a little bit confusing at the moment. JP, I guess we'll just throw this in here since we're on the topic of it. We did get V-Jump scans for JP, and we are going to be getting a new Angel Golden Frieza that transforms from a base form Angel Frieza. So that will base form, final form Frieza, but you get the point. So that'll be really cool, and he transforms via active skill, or he has an active skill?
I think it's such active skill transformation.
Gotcha. So that'll be really cool to see.
Oh, very nice.
But obviously, when it comes to global, it's kind of a gray area as to what they're going to be putting out next, because they pushed up a lot of celebrations to kind of fill in the time between 5th year and this celebration, and not to mention, we just kind of don't really know what to expect at this point because global is wilding when it comes to trying to whip us every which way to try and throw us off when it comes to what's coming next. So that'll be interesting to see.
The only thing we can really get is probably Ultimate Gohan, but we'll have to see.
Yeah.
All right. Besides that, the Extreme Z area went live with the UB edition. The co-op campaign, make a huge spirit bomb. Wow. It's some more rewards for all the players. A couple stones. I think it's how much total? That's 14 stones total, and the title screen becomes a new wallpaper.
Yes, the Super Saiyan 3 Goku versus Kid Buu. And if you remember on the last podcast, I believe I mentioned that item wasn't actually in Global's files. With the addition of Oob in the files, it was added. So that is very, very cool to see, because that is a lot of people have been saying they think it's the best wallpaper so far. And I don't know, me being a big Super Saiyan 3 fanboy, I might have to agree.
That one wallpaper that JP got added way back when is not being added anywhere. Like the one where it had it's still reference to that one art. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, I kind of forgot about that. Yeah, I think we talked about that. For the uninformed, yeah, you are right. There's a illustration from a Dragon Ball manga chapter. Where it's Buu holding up all the Z fighters and some other Dragon Ball characters on a big platform, and the front of the platform says Dragon Ball. That was a wallpaper that was added only on JP. Global did not get that. But it hasn't been referenced at all in the celebration, so that will be interesting to see what becomes of that. Yeah, I totally forgot about that. Good call.
Anyways, besides that, Golden Weekend missions went live, and that's about it.
On both versions.
And yeah, basically the same thing on both versions, except that JP knows what's coming next with Frieza, and Global is still in the dark currently for the next 2 days.
Yeah. We'll see then, though. Probably will be Gohan. It'll be interesting to see, though, what they do after that, because realistically, is this not the closest that Global has been to JP?
Otherwise, definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely, yeah.
Because what do they still have? Gohan, Buu, and Gotenks?
JP's summon history real quick, then.
Bro. My man's pulling up the receipts?
Yeah, bro. So let's see, you already have the the worldwide celebration. There's not really any, there's some miscellaneous ones, like a Rising Dragon Carnival here and there. It's really just...
Also, the Blue Boys and Jiren.
I do think they're going to be coming for Christmas, though. Jiren might come sooner. They might push up Jiren, to be fair.
That'd be kind of weird, but I could see it.
Yeah. Because there's no way the Blue Boys aren't going to be Christmas.
True.
Because they are also on the Tanabata banner.
Mm-hmm.
And Global Tanabata is either Thanksgiving celebration or Christmas now. I think they've shadow moved it to Christmas now at this point.
Shadow moved it. I know what you mean, but yeah.
But so unless they take these guys off, which would kind of defeat the purpose of the banner almost,
right?
Then they're definitely gonna have these guys be Christmas and then have the Tanabata banner coincide with them. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Then maybe have Jiren for New Year's LR banner and have the that could be a really packed celebration summons wise. Jeez. Yeah, the only real one we could get is Gohan at the moment, because Gotenks and Buu are hard tied to Thanksgiving.
Right.
No way of moving them forward.
Wow, so that'll be interesting to see what they do for all of October then. Hopeful Global isn't dead.
They're going to have to probably run some filler banners. I wouldn't be surprised if I don't know. This is the closest we've been so far. It's a little scary. I'll be honest.
Maybe they'll come out with another global first and
maybe
troll everybody. Oh, I can't believe I just said the word troll out loud. That was so cringe. Dun, dun, dun. Anyhow, though, speaking of cringe, the amount of content in the celebration was pretty cringe. Transitions. We'll be back, and we are back.
Hey, I know I didn't say anything about an ad. That doesn't mean you shouldn't have watched it. Better have watched it. Watch.
Yeah, bro, you should.
See Evil Boo right there? He's watching you.
He literally is watching you, bro. Listen, we shouldn't have to tell you by this point. You should just know. This was a test. Wouldn't you agree, K-Von Spark?
I would, yeah.
Good. Anyway, shout out to the JoJo dub. They actually did that scene fairly well.
Yeah.
Regardless, though, let's talk about something that's not as good as a JoJo dub. Oh, wow. That was a hot take unintentionally. Dang.
That was a hot take in both ways.
Yeah, for real,
how you feel about some dubs.
For real, bro. For real. Part 3 dub trash. Anyway, though.
Oh, my goodness. This ain't the JoJo podcast. Be quiet.
That's true. Welcome to the Stardust Shooters podcast. Bro, I'd be down. No, but for real, the 350 million download celebration, aka the worldwide celebration campaign, the Mr. Worldwide campaign, the Pitbull campaign, whatever you want to call it. We're gonna talk about its content, or rather lack thereof in this case. The short answer of this is, did it have no content? Well, I mean, no, of course not. Did it have a little amount of content? Very much so. But what we want to do today is we want to kind of put this celebration to the test. Wouldn't you agree? All right, we're not doing that joke again. But for real, though, we want to put this celebration to the test because we figured we would take a look at last year's download celebration and compare the amount of content in that celebration to the amount of content in this celebration and truly see how the two stack up and if we can really say that this celebration did have no content, or if that is just us kind of saying that in the modern day. Now, a couple of things to take into consideration. One, unfortunately, we can only really compare this to 300 million downloads because the wiki does not have the information for 250 mil. They have the information for like one event of it, but they don't have the actual information for the particular celebration on the website, which kind of stinks. I don't know if we could find let me see if I could find that on DBZ Space maybe. Regardless though, I do think that comparing it to 300 mil is probably the better way to go though, just because obviously even though one celebration was obviously a year ago and the other one was 2 years ago, the more modern celebration is probably a little bit better to compare it to, simply because obviously, well, I mean, it is another modern day quote-unquote celebration, and obviously back then again as well. The other thing to remember is that with that celebration, we were not in the era of well, we were in the era of category leads, but not in the way that we are nowadays. And not to mention the featured units were Goku and Frieza.
Yeah, I remember everybody how you feel about those nowadays.
Yeah, which I think Gohan and Cell compare a lot better to Boo and Vegito than Frieza and Goku do. So with all of that out of the way, let's go ahead and talk about this celebration first. We're going to go starting with part 1 here, because thankfully the wiki has...
I want to compare the countdowns, actually.
Sure, we could actually do that. That's a good idea. Yeah, start from the beginning. Good thinking. Let's see. Okay, so for the worldwide campaign countdown... oh, by the way, one other very interesting thing to note before we actually get into the meat and potatoes of all of this, is that one big thing that was very different with the celebration, I suppose this isn't really content related, quote unquote, necessarily, but I just thought it was something interesting to note because it hasn't been a thing really in previous celebrations, or at least it certainly hasn't been this abundant as it was in this celebration. I know you have no idea what I'm about to say, Kayvon. In the art for a lot of different banners and promotional pieces for this celebration, a ton of characters that were not present yet on global were present in the promotional art. Which they haven't really done something like this, because obviously the download celebrations are usually dual celebrations, so that it, encompasses both versions and stuff releases at the same time. But it was quite interesting with this celebration that there was a lot of character artwork and whatnot that was not yet added on global, and was used for this celebration. Not even just including the countdown. Even in the countdown image, we had Super Saiyan 3 Gotenks and Gohan pieces from their SA. So I just thought that was something interesting to note, because they haven't really done something like that.
In fact, they have the battlefield with the units global doesn't have.
Yes, I was going to say that too. They had to add the cards onto global, because they had the special edition Boo battlefield, and those characters weren't even on global yet, and you can fight them as bosses on global first before you can actually summon for them, which is also kind of weird. But anyway, I thought that was just something interesting to note, since we're on the topic of the whole thing. Let's go ahead and talk about the countdown, though. So we did have the login bonus, which was 1 stone a day for the first 5 days, and then 2 stones, and then 3 stones. Every day did include a ticket for the ticket banner as well. That was the same as last year, so not too much of a difference there. We did have the ticket missions, though, where you would get tickets for logging in every single day, and clearing every stage once. You get a ticket for that as well, so same thing there. We can't really compare the ticket banners, unfortunately, in the specific way of the units on them, because obviously, since
they both exist.
Right, they both do indeed exist. Because obviously the units that were available and were ready to be put on a ticket banner of this caliber, last year, were a lot different than the units that were able to be put on this banner this year, right? Because, like, even though some of the units that were put on this year's ticket banner were released last year, I don't know timing wise before or after that banner specifically. I think there were a couple that were released before that banner. Dokkan has a time frame where they won't put a unit on another banner or a ticket banner before like a certain amount of time has passed. So but this banner was very, very good. Obviously those tickets from the countdown could be used on that, so that was pretty cool as well. We will talk a little bit more about that ticket banner later, because there is a big difference in the celebrations actually between the two. But we did have, let's see, the worldwide celebration returning campaign. So I believe this was basically returning players.
Well, no, it's basically, how many returning players come to the game, we get rewards.
Yeah. So first step was 50K, and final step, the EX step, was through 50K. I believe we did actually knock that out of the park, and there was no such thing for last year's countdown.
Yeah,
so there is?
Yeah, you're right there.
Bruh, I'm blind.
Yeah.
Okay,
so
funny
enough, that's about less stones
than last year?
Yeah, in the new one, if you compare them.
Interesting. Even though it takes more players to get it done, bruh. That's very interesting. Yeah, because on this year's, it was 50K, 100K, 150, 200, 250, and 350. And last year was 20K, 50K, 100K, 150, 200, and 300.
Interesting.
Very, very interesting. Those last two steps had 10 stones, bro? Oh my gosh.
Yeah, that's very interesting. I realize that.
Stinky new campaign. By the way, you can finally see what I'm talking about, Kivon, every time I talk about the all Dokkan events available image. I know you can't see this because this is an audio podcast, but the newer image is much, much better. All Dokkan events did go live for this campaign as well as all EZAs were live as well. Last year's campaign did have a new story event, the New Enemies, Androids in Action, where you could recruit that Super Saiyan Goku. And then there was also a medal to the Mysterious Monster Cell added to that story event as well as 4 times XP and 30% off the Baba Shop. Funny enough, we actually did have more in this campaign.
At least.
We had the Hercule Legendary campaign go live. So obviously that's just, the normal LR campaign, except for ya boy Hercule breaking the bank, of course. We had the and also the ZZA. We'll talk about that later though. Chain Battle versus Super Boo. And a brand new Infinite Dragon Ball History stage added, which was which one was that? Remind me.
Versus Babadi's Army.
Yes, that's right. Yeah. And then also SBR was available every day, but that's kind of just like coinciding with all the Dokkan events and EZAs open.
Besides that, it's just everything else is pretty much the same for the countdown.
Yeah. Obviously, both also had countdown loading screens, which was pretty cool. So
Yeah.
So overall, countdown-wise,
Stone-wise, I think it's similar besides the... here's the thing. Last year had 2 story events. And this year we had the Chain Battle, Infinite Dragon Ball History, and Hercule's Legendary campaign. So I guess it's up to you whether you feel which is more content, I guess.
Yeah, for sure. I'd say that they kind of equal out. I definitely think, if I'm giving my opinion, I think, it is our podcast, so that's a yes. I think that this year's campaign did have more content. Obviously it is kind of frustrating to see that last year's returning campaign was not only easier but also gave more stones. But I do think that might have equaled out, because realistically,
the countdown specifically,
this story event was 8 stages, so you got stones from that. And then the new medal added to the Monster Cell event was only like, an extra stage?
Pretty much. The Dokkan Awaken Vegeta.
Right. And with this, you got stones for Chain Battle, Infinite Dragon Ball History, and the Hercule campaign. So I guess it's about equal in terms of the stone count, but I would say there is definitely more content in this one, interestingly enough. All right.
Let's go to part 1.
Wait, what?
Let's go to part 1.
Yes, part 1. Very cool. All right. So both of these did have. Why do they call it a premium movie?
Bro, premium on your phone.
What does that even mean, bro? What makes the movie premium?
Everything.
I didn't even have to pay for it. Usually that means I have to have like a subscription or something like that. We even have the wiki actually has the videos here. That's pretty cool. Not going to play them obviously, but also this is different, by the way. The premium movies are a little bit different than the actual YouTube playback error. Cool. Than the trailers that they had, because if you remember last year we had the I have an announcement, where Cell was on all the TVs in Japan, and then we got Japanese Cell going Dokkan Battle like that, and then what did
Dokkan Battle?
Yeah, the English speaking Cell said Dokkan Battle. Which was very funny. If I can find Dokkan Battle. If I can find a link to that trailer, I'll leave a link in the description. I guess this year we did technically get a promotional video. It was a little bit less exciting though. It was just the their essays kind of being shown off a little bit. Yeah, with the Sadani Super Vegito,
Hey, by the way, there's more art that isn't on Global. I just realized.
Yep. The only other time they did a movie like that, though, for an IRL thing fourth year they did that with the Dandan Kuruto, the guy listening to it on the train.
Yeah.
Did they do that for fifth year?
I don't remember. I'll be
I
honest.
don't remember either. Anyway, moving on from that, though, both celebrations did have a login bonus, obviously, as well as special missions. These are basically the same. It's just Godstone, and you get 2 stones per login bonus, so nothing too big there, as well as your other, generic login bonus items. Missions, let's take a look at the comparison of those two. Oh, wow, we have a very beautiful image here, and then we have text for this one.
I think we could save that because I was thinking at the end. To solidify the point a little bit, we could also talk about the stone count between celebrations.
Oh, do you have that handy?
Well, the wiki actually has it handy.
Oh, okay. All right, then we'll take a look at that then.
So I think we can lump the missions into that, if anything, if we want to delve in depth into it.
Gotcha.
You know what I mean?
Good call. So we'll just say missions for now.
Just missions be missions,
I will give you a short summary, though. They're very similar.
Yeah, they're usually always similar.
So we did have co-op missions.
Shall not be named.
Yes, so this was something new for this celebration that they actually haven't done for any celebration before. Kinda. We have had celebrations before where both versions have to team up to be able to complete some missions, but this time it was actually called something. It was called the Worldwide Co-op Campaign. I gotta say it one time, bro, with the Escape from the Innards of Boo campaign. Disgusting. This campaign, though, gave us a total of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 stones. And on top of that, besides some other items, keys, Z-swords, Kais, stuff like that, Elder Kais, by the way, that is where we got the Super Vegito, Ultimate Gohan, and Super Saiyan 3 Gotenks wallpaper. Interestingly enough, with this particular campaign, we did not actually technically achieve this in the amount of time that we were supposed to.
Yeah, they had to extend it. Also, there was some personal missions down there for 3 extra seconds.
Nice.
So we got 10 total.
Gotcha. That is the first time that something like this has happened. I mean,
in a while.
In a while, at least. I think as far back as I can remember, I don't ever remember us ever not completing some big mission. We usually knock it out of the park.
There has been one time, but instead of extending it, they literally just said we failed, which was like, bruh.
I mean, to be fair, we did. I don't know, though. I will say 2.2 billion stamina does feel like a lot.
Yeah, and we didn't have much to spend it on, to be fair.
Right, which was also the other problem, because this particular campaign ran from, where is the date? From the 27th to the 5th, which is only, what, 5, 6, 7, 8 days, right?
Yeah, a week.
Something like that, yeah. That would be August to September. Oh, no, it would be, I think, 9, because 7, 28, 29... 30, 31 plus 5. Gotcha. Okay. Yeah, so, on top of the fact that we didn't really have that much to use this on, I guess, besides link level grinding.
Oh boy!
In that short amount of time, especially having that high of a a benchmark for the final prize, that was a lot. I'm not gonna lie. 2.2 billion is a lot of stamina. Even cumulatively.
I agree.
I think they could definitely work on those numbers for next time, because I don't even know if that was necessarily the fault of the players. I honestly think that was more so just well, A, there wasn't enough stuff to spend our stamina on, and B, that's just a high number in general.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice wallpaper, though.
Yeah, it's very nice wallpaper. It was kind of funny, I will say, that only one of these characters appeared in the celebration.
Yeah, true.
I know that technically this wallpaper is basically the heroes of the Boo Saga, Ultimate Gohan, SV, and Super Saiyan 3 Gotenks. But Still very odd that like they were on the front cover, the wallpaper, because this was also the loading screen, and they were like, yeah, no, they're just there for the memes.
Yeah, basically.
Yeah, very weird. Moving on, though, we did have the dual Dokkan Fest celebration on both versions. After this, we'll go back and talk about the stuff in the last celebration, by the way. We do have the dual Dokkan Fest live. This was obviously the Goku and Angel Vegeta that fused into Super Vegito, and the Peshibu, aka the Bootanks, that Dokkan Awakened, that transformed rather into Buhan Stinky Boy. And then obviously last year it was the transforming Super Saiyan 1 Gohan to 2, and the Perfect Cell to Super Perfect Cell. And of course, both of their Dokkan events went live, as well as super discounts on both to boot. Can't speak for the discounts on both versions because obviously that's not really content, and we're more sort of talking about content this time around. But both did have the purple stone, and actually the whole purple stone meme from last time where you could actually pick up multiple characters with your purple stone did return this celebration, because I believe that was introduced during that one, right?
No, that was during 5th year, I'm pretty sure.
Okay, then sorry. It returned from 5th year, where you could spend 3 for an LR, 2 for a category lead, and then 1 for a 120, I think.
Yes, 120 for Vegito and Rose.
The boys. So that was pretty cool. Obviously, since that wasn't a thing during that campaign, we can't really compare that, but nonetheless, still good to mention. As well, both celebrations obviously got a red stone. Now, jumping back to 300 mil before we talk about the ticket banners for both a little bit more in depth. In exchange, I suppose, for the co-op missions, we did have the, well, kind of in exchange, I suppose, but this was basically, I guess, kind of. I don't know. It's hard to compare the two because they're not really the same. And again, we're just sort of telling you what happened on both. We had the Hercules Worldwide Tile Breaking Contest. This event was for the winner Cell and the loser Hercule. This was the Cell where he's smacking Hercule away into the rocks, and then the Hercule was smacking his behind. Excuse me.
Still the best passive name in the game, by the way.
What is it?
I'll spank him.
That's pretty funny.
Word for word. I'm telling you.
Beautiful.
Best passive in the game.
Gotta love it, bro. Foolish warm-up Hercules, the name of the card. That's actually pretty funny.
You're there. There it is.
Oh, wow. I can't believe that actually is a passive skill. I'll spank him. Very good. Very good. But nonetheless, though, those challenges were there. That did technically happen in part 2 of the celebration, so we'll talk about that a little bit later. But the other thing that we did get in this celebration was the Tricks Won't Work Tile Breaking Challenge event. Basically,
how you got the Cell and this is how we were being judged, basically, between versions.
Right. This is basically just the punching event, except with a Hercule tile breaking skin.
And much easier considering you have boosted categories.
Right, which is very, very nice. So that was pretty cool. Nice little event just to kind of throw in there for a little extra something, you know what I'm saying? Moving back over to our celebration, though, the event that I guess you could equate to that, in terms of, I guess, something to do.
An event for part 1 that was like that.
True. So the problem is that they did a lot of part 1 stuff from the 300 mil celebration and part 2 for this celebration, so it's hard to compare the parts, but we'll do a little bit of a better comparison overall in a little bit. What we did get, though, for this event was we did get the story event. I'll talk about the ticket banner last, by the way. We did get the Showdown, the Ultimate Final Battle event that gave us the Goku and Hercule that could be awakened into UR, as well as the Full of Stamina Saiyan Gluttons event, where we could get the Aged Meat item. And not only that, we could get the brand new Large Aged Meat, which was pretty cool.
Aged Meat L, as it were.
Aged Meat L, yeah, literally. Not to mention you got some of the other
boss rush, which could be equated actually down there.
True, yeah. So we did get a new stage of boss rush as well, which was cool. Please make one with 8 or 10 or whatever stages. I'm begging you, bro.
And give us a full 50 stones for it instead of 35.
Yes, big agree. But so we did get that. We'll talk about that in a second. But besides that, on the 300 mil celebration, back to there, in terms of story events, we did obviously get the new story event of the Mysterious Monster Cell. We got the Cell games, and not only that, we did get the Chamber of Spirit and Time event, which was this was daily, correct?
Well, no, you could do it. I think it was 4 or 5 times during the celebration. No, it was just 2 times. Never mind.
Interesting. Yeah, so just some extra.
About once a week, yeah.
Yeah,
for
very
10
cool.
guys.
Yeah,
not bad.
Very nice. So 2 story events in that. New stages of SPR were added during this as well. And there actually was a new stage of Boss Rush added during this as well. So that was pretty interesting.
That over there was something that didn't happen this celebration, which was interesting.
The type banners?
No, the top grossing thing.
Ah, yes. So we'll talk about the ticket banner now, since I suppose that'll be a good little transition here. So, during this part of the celebration, we did have a rather odd top grossing. We didn't technically get top grossing at this point when this happened, because I know we did get top grossing later in the celebration. But they gave us some tickets to just use on the ticket banner, which was just like a, hey, thanks. I was like, cool. They did change up how they did the tickets a little bit this year. So last year, you simply got a ticket for every 50 stones that you placed. Oh yeah, we did get 50 stones for top grossing during the last celebration. But nonetheless, though, with the tickets, right, for every single multi that you spent from the last one of these banners until this current banner, there was like a certain date that it was until then. You got tickets for every single multi that you spent, and then you were able to use them on the ticket banner that was live during the celebration. Now, they did change that up a little bit this year. They did give something of equivalency. They decided to give out something called the Memorial Dragonstone this year. Basically, this Memorial Dragonstone was equivalent of the ticket, kind of. So what you could do with this was you could head over to the Baba shop, and either you could buy 1 ticket with 1 Memorial Dragonstone, or, do you remember the prices?
It was 400 of them for any unit on the banner.
Yeah, so any unit that was featured on the banner, you could purchase them with the Memorial Stones, which was pretty cool. I know that there was a little bit of controversy about this, unfortunately. Because, I mean, in the grand scheme of things, yes, 400 of these Memorial Stones for 1 unit is quite a bit, considering a lot of people didn't even get 400 of them.
Including me, funny enough.
Yeah, I didn't get it on my global either, though granted I don't summon on my global as much. But for 1 unit for 400, it was kind of expensive. But nonetheless, though, I still think that it was a fantastic option for that to be available. Because for people who, just wanted 1 specific unit and maybe didn't, really didn't care about the chance of trying to get more than just that specific unit, they could just go ahead and use their stones on that. So it was pretty cool. I do think for next year they could probably improve the price a little bit.
Definitely, yeah.
Yeah, but nonetheless,
it was really just an added step before you get your tickets.
Yeah, And I mean, it's still cool that it was there nonetheless. You know what I mean?
Yeah. It can always be improved on, though.
Right. Good stuff, though, nonetheless, on that. We did have Hidden Potential active during both celebrations. Both celebrations did have a special edition version of Battlefield, aka Virtual Dokkan Clash. Obviously, Androids Edition and Boo Saga, respectively. I think I mentioned the Elder Kai banner. And on this celebration, we did have the return of Launch's Treasure Hunt, which was every single week you will get 20 stones during the celebration, for a total of 100.
Up to a total of 100. Yeah.
Yes, and for last year's celebration, there actually was something similar to this. There
It was only for, I think, a week, though.
Yeah, there was the Obtain Dragonstones, Eat Up and Fight missions.
Yeah.
Complete the mission to get 10 stones every single day. And this was from the 27th to the 5th. So, how many stones is that?
Depends. The 8th, 27. How many months are there? How many months? Wow. How many days are in?
Kevon, there would be 12 months. No, 1,
okay, 2, I think it is
3,
actually
4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So that would have been 80 stones. So we did
actually, it doesn't count the first one, so I think it is 70.
Gotcha. And in this one, you did get 20, but it was a little bit more. Or, 20 per day. You got 100 total, but it was a little bit more spread out.
Yeah, 20 per week.
Yeah. So good stuff there. The only other thing that the 300 mil celebration had was the type banners that came out every 4-ish days. They had the Fizz banner, Tech AGL, and STR. Obviously, these guys had the support units for the different types. These guys are slowly becoming some of the rarest units in the game, even though they're honestly not that good anymore. Not that they're bad, but there's just so many other support units that can do what they do better. But for the sake of collection, bro, they becoming kind of hard to come by, especially since you can't get them with, they're not in the unfeatured pool, which they should be. But
the only other thing different is really the way they handled top grossing previously to now. Because you see there, if 7 countries got top grossing, 50 stones would be on both versions. But they did it regular top grossing wise this celebration, where if JP got one store, they got 30. If they got both, they got 100. And Global got 7 per store.
Yes. So
interesting how the joint celebration took out joint top grossing, which is kind of funny, but oh well, I guess.
Yeah, that is interesting. Wonder why they did it that way. Did JP remind me? We hit both, right? Or no?
JP, I don't think got 100 now.
Yeah. Okay.
Fake out. Yeah.
F in the chat.
Yeah.
How many did we get on Global for this one?
Oh, the first one I think it was actually close to 70.
Wow. Pog for Global then.
Yeah, and then Jake got another 30, and we got 14 so far. I don't think we're getting any more of that.
Yeah, for Vegeta, that's right. Speaking of which, let's go ahead and talk about part 2 now. Part 2. So, part 2 for this celebration is really easy to tell you about. We had another premium movie, which, by the way, so annoying personally, because every time I have to transfer my account from my phone to the computer to stream, I have to watch the movie on both versions every time. Why?
It'd be like that sometimes.
But anyway, both versions did obviously have a login bonus. I believe the login bonus for this one was just continued from the part 1 login bonus. And we did have part 2 missions as well. Part 2 did have the addition of the Showdown on Supreme Kai's planet, aka Rock, Paper, Scissors, bro.
Yeah, pretty much, yeah.
This was where we had the winner Goku and the loser Vegeta that we did talk about earlier in the news section of this video, where JP threw to get the Vegeta because it has a less common name than the Goku. And then obviously there were some personal missions as well for this where you could get a couple of stones and some tickets as well.
Free multi on the ticket banner, which is very nice.
Yeah, very good stuff there. So cool to see that got added. We did get a top legendary summon. This was reminiscent of last year's top legendary summon. Last year we did have the androids and Gohan on there. Interestingly enough, they did not like try and hide the fact that it was going to be Vegeta, or because like last year they didn't tell us right away that it was going to be Gohan. I think maybe they just figured that we probably would figure it out, I guess.
That's how they told us Vegeta would get his essay revamp in the Vegeta section of the news.
Yeah, so yeah, there was that. But the Vegeta Angel, that is the famous Kakuroto, oh my god, number one da, that was added on the top legendary summon banner, so that was pretty cool. Vegeta's 12 key revamp, by the way, was what got revamped, not his 18 key. F in the chat for the boy.
Still nice 12 key though.
Yeah, I do wonder though, this is a little bit off topic, but now thinking about this, I wonder if that means that we can use the 90% LRs as hints as to what the potential LR for the next download celebration will be, because if they keep on this trend, it would obviously have to be Trunks or Broly or help me, who's the last one?
And Zamasu.
Yes. So, yeah, I don't know. We'll see if they actually keep that a trend.
Next download celebration, back to Cell Saga?
Yeah, right? I don't know.
Mecha Frieza and King Cold? Summonable version?
Or just honestly a better version of it. Oh, and they revamped Trunks' essay to actually be cool.
Yeah.
That would be pretty sick. I'm not going to lie, because that would be a really sick essay.
No, they probably revamped the 18 key at that point.
Yeah, I would hope so. Nonetheless, though, that will be something that we'll have to, kind of tell in time if that's something that we can use as an indicator. Nonetheless, though, going back to the 300 million download celebration, they did have a movie as well, special missions, and they did have the Dende, the new Guardian Dragon Ball Hunt. Interestingly enough, this was basically co-op missions before the co-op missions had the technical term. Both versions had to work together to meet special conditions, and every time we met one of these conditions, you would get one of the Dragon Balls, collect 3 billion Zenny between both versions, undergo training at least 15 million times, awaken at least 800,000 characters, Extreme Z awaken at least 500,000 characters, clear at least 2 million phases in Infinite Dragon Ball history, complete at least 10 million missions from the Worldwide Celebration Missions Part 2, and consume at least 300 million stamina. See, that's a little bit more reasonable.
Yeah.
Especially considering it was like only a few days short of the other campaign. What I'm trying to say is 2 billion stamina is dumb.
Fair.
Nonetheless, though, we did have those missions, so that was pretty cool. We did get another event, that being the evolution of the ultimate life form, Cell. This event was a limited event as well, that was literally just here for some extra stones. Still pretty cool, though, nonetheless. Always appreciate it when they give some extra stones. It's like, it's something that they didn't have to do, but they did anyway. We did get the EZA area for the exchange Goku and Gohan and the exchange Vegeta and Trunks. That was really cool because obviously, the exchange mechanic being brand new was sick. And nonetheless, obviously, of course, giving them EZA was very cool as well.
We had History's debut back in the celebration.
Yes, so that celebration. Yeah, that's crazy. So that was when it debuted. That the only stage at that time was actually Android and Cell Saga. Because obviously, that's what it was themed around. So that was pretty cool for that. Obviously, we did get a new stage of the story event for part 2 as well. We did get the Extreme Z area for the Goku and Hercule, which now Dokkan awakened, and then got an EZA. I suppose we can kind of just include then the update to part 2, which was not a technical part 3, brought the 2 new stages to that story event, which gave us the Oob Youth and the update to the EZA area, where we got the EZA for the homie Oob. On top of that, the boy Hercule did pick up an EZA through this celebration, so that was pretty cool. We got literally Janemba's Realm in physical form, that being the new Extreme Super Bad World. What I'm trying to say is HEW. You know what I'm trying to say, bro. Yes, Hiffle. The event is awful is the point I'm trying to get at.
Both on global and JP.
Yeah, awfully hard. That was one difference between the both versions, by the way.
JP got the new category stages. We got the original ones.
So that was that. Infinite Dragon Ball History got a new stage. This being the bootleg, fighting legend.
Fighting legend Boo. Yeah.
Yeah. AKA it was just you fought all the phases of Boo. The mysterious ritual summon, which obviously was the other Kai banner. Golden Weekend missions, not to be confused with Golden Week. And then the Let's Make a Huge Spirito Bombu campaign, which was more co-op missions, and obviously some personal missions with that. And those all led up to the magnum opus of the arguably greatest Dokkan wallpaper of all time, the Kid Buu versus Super Saiyan. What's up?
Definitely gonna put that as my wallpaper going forward.
100%, bro. I simp for Super Saiyan 3. How can I not have this as my wallpaper?
Understandable. And on what do we have on the other celebration?
And on the other celebration, we had lots of stuff. So let's just make sure we didn't miss anything here. No, we're good. So we had Cell Bingo. Bingo! This was specifically something on Facebook. Where basically you interacted on the Facebook campaign, and then we got rewards accordingly. The 30th World Tournament.
Yo, that's something we're lacking for a while. I want to see a new World Tournament.
Yes, which, I mean, is a good and a bad thing. But in terms of content, is a bad thing for sure. Yamcha was still the LR during this celebration. Wow, that's crazy to think about, actually. And this was when that Gotenks Kicking Up in the Air was introduced. Obviously, everything that comes with a world tournament was also brought back. The SSR banners, the Bulma's Genius Battle Prep, of course, on Global with Pilaf's, Trove. We got the world tournament support pack. And your generic events came back as well. The funny Boss Rabbit event and the Kid Goku event.
Funny enough, looking at part 2 in the celebration, besides the EZA and the World Tournament, there isn't really much.
I will say, I am inclined to agree. However, the one big thing that sticks out for me here, right?
It's obviously the rabbit moment, right?
That's not what I expect you to say, but most definitely. No. The fact that a new event was introduced.
Yeah, a new type of mode. Yes, that is fair.
That was a super big deal. And even though it is technically the same amount of content, I suppose.
Something new so it feels more. No, I can agree with that.
Yeah, impactful. Although I don't know if they necessarily need another new game mode, because we've kind of discussed on the podcast that sort of the same philosophy with categories. They need to focus on updating some older things and stop introducing so many new things. Except for co-op, actually make real co-op. But nonetheless, though. We also got that, extra story event.
Yeah, a little cell event, yeah.
Which is, that's something that's, so unnecessary, but so appreciated, and makes it feel so much I don't know, makes it feel even more beefier. Having that extra little banner there, even though it's realistically not that much, still feels like a lot,
No, I can agree with that.
Yeah.
It's not as big as a leap and bound in terms of content, difference. than what
Now,
most people probably remember or like think.
there is another thing though that we have not mentioned yet. Besides the Facebook campaign on Global with Cell, bingo. We did have a JP Twitter campaign.
Yeah.
But
So to be fair, those. Oh wait. What do you want to talk about? The ticket banners? Or
no,
do you want to talk about?
no, my friend. You forget about one big part, my friend. Supreme Challenge.
I don't remember what this is. I'm not gonna lie.
So,
Oh, this is basically the
raid.
make a spirit bomb. Oh wait. Oh right. No. Right. Got that.
So, fourth year anniversary introduced a new type of event, kind of.
Yeah.
That being raids. Not to be confused with Pokemon Go raids, Pokemon Masters raids, or Raid Shadow Legends.
Basically, a 100 stage easy A.
Yes.
At the end of the day.
And that is actually what that extra little cell event in part 2 was for. When you played through that extra little event, you unlocked the easy A. Yeah. Now the reason why we consider this a raid is because basically with everybody participating in it, obviously you have Cell's normal health bars and your actual levels, but Cell had a technical giant HP bar, which is more so just like a giant mission that you're supposed to complete. You know, it's more so like do 40 million damage to Cell is basically the mission, but they kind of frame it in the way of a raid.
Basically, you have to beat the stage 40 million times cooperatively.
Yeah. So after that, you obviously got some stones, which was very, very nice. And this is how we got the Gohan wallpaper, the one with Baby Gohan, Saiyan Saga Gohan, and Namek Gohan. And then Super Saiyan 1. So that was a huge thing missing from this celebration.
Definitely no. I don't think anybody can disagree with that.
Yeah, not even just because of the raid, but also because of the fact that it literally, you know, ties in an easy A to it.
Yeah.
So there was that. The only other thing that we can really talk about here for 350 is that we did have some other social media campaigns, some Facebook and Twitter stuff, and we actually did have a Dokkan Now and a Japanese live stream as well that revealed basically the majority of the information for these celebrations. Interestingly enough, the Dokkan Now actually had a little bit more information than the Japanese live stream, because the Dokkan Now had the information that the Goku and Hercule are going to be awakening.
Yeah. And I think, if anything, to tire, before we go into our final thoughts, I think we should compare the stone count to see how meaty of a celebration it was at the end of the day.
So let's see. Let's look. Unfortunately, it doesn't look like we have the JP one.
Let's just compare global lights at that point then.
Yeah, we don't have the JP one for the 300 million downloads. So let's just compare the total stone count for
1,070 stones total from the previous worldwide celebration, and this one currently is at 870. So definitely a drop.
This, by the way, to clarify, is from a bunch of different reasons. One, there was a lot more top grossing last year.
Yeah, definitely.
And like thank you campaigns and stuff like that.
To be fair, we haven't. I don't think we've gotten these thank you for your support thing yet on Global or JP. I don't remember.
Do you mean from this year or from last year?
Yeah, from this year.
Gotcha.
Yeah, they didn't give us the thank you support campaign for this year.
Gotcha. Because it was just top grossing this year, and last year they not only did top grossing, they also did 2 different like thank you for your support little memorinos. Not to mention, obviously there was also everything between the raid stones and the different story events that the event got, and obviously some different missions between the two were the main contributors to the fact of not getting as many stones here, which kind of stinks. I don't necessarily think that always total stone count from a celebration is a, you know, what's the word that I'm looking for? It doesn't necessarily doesn't reflect how much content is in a celebration.
Nor I also think doesn't make the celebration bad by any means.
Agreed. Because, I mean, sometimes more celebrations just have more stones than others.
Yeah.
But I do think in this case it is a little bit of an interesting factor for sure.
No,
I don't know about if I would say telling, but it is definitely something to consider in this whole conversation here.
So want to get into our final thoughts at that point?
Yes. So I've been talking a lot. You go first.
Fair enough. I have been pretty silent. My bad for that, by the way.
I mean, to be fair, I was doing a lot of reading, so.
Fair. So at the end of the day, looking at all this, you can definitely say that this celebration was a step down from 250 or from 300 million downloads in terms of stone count, and also in a way like not just content but variety in a way of content, because with the free-to-play units, especially with the old one, they were also free to 100% with their own orbs, which also was an extra little bit to grind, even though it's sometimes annoying, sometimes for the worst. But these 3 units were all like you had to use premium orbs, quote unquote. So you didn't have to grind or as much. And besides that, like, while I do think on paper the celebration was lacking compared to last year, I don't think it deserves the hate that it's been getting by a lot of the community, considering when it really comes down to not having a raid, which is a shame. I wish it did have one, but at the end of the day, like, there's not that much different.
I definitely agree on the raid 100% because that is a huge part. Sorry, I was just processing what you're saying. Did you think I was about to hit you with that? Actually, you're wrong. Get off. No.
I was.
But no, I think because like realistically, I agree that it definitely doesn't deserve as much hate as it's gotten. I do think though that there were a lot of things that were easy things that they could have added in. That could have definitely spiced it up, because like realistically both got like Battlefield and like some missions and some different ways to get stones and the tickets and some different like, you know, events that were only available during the particular time of the event. But 300 mil did get quite a few different story events and whatnot. Not to mention, again, I think the biggest point of contention is probably, like I said, the raid. And what was the other thing? I just had it in my head. I feel like the World Tournament being a part of it is kind of a big deal, because
I can agree with that.
Even though, you know, a lot of us aren't necessarily the biggest fans of the World T nowadays, it is still content. And
we're very overdue for a new one, honestly.
Yes. And it is 100% still something to do. It's still something that they could have easily included, because realistically, World Tournaments aren't that hard to make when it comes to, like, making an event, right? Like for a story event, you have to, you know, create the whole new event from the ground up and, you know, make the story and everything like that. But with the World Tournament, you just like change up the banners, change up the actual banner that is like the little promo image, and then just have the event run. You know, not really, you know, not really that complicated to something that they could have added in there to make the celebration just that much better. While I do think that this celebration did do some things better in some ways, I definitely think that I would have to give it to 300 mil. It was interesting, though, some of the things that they did. Like, they definitely could have done some varied missions, because I think part of the great thing about the 300 mil too is that, like, there was a bunch of different missions to do. Like, there was the special ones, you know, and then you had like the Goku missions, and then obviously you had the versus thing, and then not only that, you had the Dragon Ball. But basically for this one, it was like co-op missions and more co-op missions.
Yeah, no, I definitely agree.
Which we didn't even hit for the part 1-1. So I definitely think that, again, like you said, it doesn't deserve as much content, or it doesn't deserve as much content. That's ironic. Thank you, Brain, for that meme. It doesn't deserve as much hate, for sure. But I definitely think that with a couple more story events and with like just a little bit of extra tweaking, they definitely could have made this a lot better, and I feel like people wouldn't have complained as much. It's also two things kind of also don't help this situation. A, the fact that Extreme Super Battle Road on Global was introduced in this celebration when it wasn't meant to be introduced in this celebration.
It was meant to be probably a little while ago.
Right. It should have come out a while ago, but they decided to throw it in here, which, like, you would think that would kind of take the place of how Infinite Dragon Ball History was introduced during 300 mil, but because it was expected and it wasn't really meant for this celebration and kind of thrown in here, that was kind of disappointing. And bro, imagine if it wouldn't have been in there at all. But it was good that JP got the new stages, because that kind of equated to last year when we got the new Super Battle Road stages for the regular Super Battle Road. But like, it didn't introduce any new type of events, which, you know, granted, can be a good and a bad thing. Overall, though, I definitely think that last year's celebration was a little bit stronger. I do think that in terms of the specific units, though, maybe we won't get into that because that's not as much content. But
I do feel like when it comes to like celebration as a whole, this celebration was already falling behind at the start just because of how openly distasteful the community reaction was towards the main banner units.
That is true. That also didn't really help the situation.
Actually, the celebration just kind of, even though it isn't as bad as people say, because it is definitely a step down from the past download celebration, people just like not over exaggerate, but like were biased just due to their distaste for the units that were chosen
and blinded a little bit. I definitely agree with that. I mean, bro, what is it about download celebrations and having units that end up having some weird controversy with them?
I know, right?
Like 250 people kind of don't like Goku and Frieza as much anymore. Last year, everybody was so hyped for Gohan and Cell, and then they saw what they did. They were like, pfft. And then this year, they saw, you know, the 90th Vegito, and everybody was like, bruh.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. Kind of weird. But I 100% agree with you, though. I do think that already kind of set it up for failure. And I mean, I don't know. I kind of thought that Mr. Akatsuki already knew that we were kind of getting sick of the fusions at this point. But after this celebration, I really hope that he knows that we're kind of getting sick of the fusions at this point. Because, like, we've had enough fusions to last a lifetime and a half, bro.
Now, I'm not saying I would be against an LR Gogeta and an LR Janemba.
Oh my gosh. I mean, I'm not saying I would be either, but to be fair, though, I mean, it is a little bit weird when it comes to that part of things specifically, because obviously Super Vegito specifically, especially like this particular scene, this is like really only the second one, kind of, because
technically third, fourth, because you have AGL, you have Fizz.
Oh, I forgot about AGL. That's right.
And then these two.
Yeah, because like, well, it's kind of weird because the transforming one is a little bit weird. But the other ones I get, yeah, no, I guess you're right. Um, Nonetheless, though, I think it's still good that we got a like modern day Super Vegeta with updated animations, especially. That was very cool to see. Obviously, um, I also think that we kind of have enough Boo cards now. Because like we
We still
really
need that.
we still need what?
A new Kid Boo. To be
Oh,
fair,
that is true.
the last one was the Int one. Yeah.
Yikes. I mean,
Yeah.
everything else we kind of have our bases covered. We have Exchange Boo, we have Transforming Super Boo, and now we have this guy. So in terms of the rest of the transformations, I think we're pretty much good there. Also, I think that could definitely be a point of contention for maybe both celebrations, to be honest. Is actually the disappointment of the unit choice on the part 2 top banners.
I can agree, and I find it interesting. I don't know if you ever noticed this, but both LRs are from what if scenarios. Because the LR Android Trio is what if 16 still had his bomb and just exploded cell.
Mm-hmm.
And Vegeta is what if Goku held the transformation and had enough energy to one-shot Boo with a Kamehameha.
Huh. I wonder why.
It's interesting, but I kind of like it, but at the same time, I understand why people would be disappointed with it.
Yeah.
Especially if we all thought like, oh, Super Spirit Bomb is going to be the LR, or like, oh, we're going to get Bye Guys Goku for the LR.
And I will say it kind of didn't help. This year is a little bit less of a tease because like Bye Guys Goku is just kind of used in a bunch of different scenes and story events and like artwork in this event and stuff like that. But like they really did tease us last year because the one loading screen was literally Goku doing the Bye Guys animation, and that came out before the banner came out, and everybody was like because I was like, oh, it's gonna be Bye Guys Goku, and then it didn't actually happen. Speaking of loading screens, they actually added them quite late this year. I know that they usually do them towards the end of the celebration, but I specifically remember those coming out before the top banner, and the loading screens for Dokkan only came out like now.
Yeah,
for this celebration. So that was kind of something interesting as well. So yeah, overall, I think 350 million garbage. No, just no. But I mean, I think it's almost inarguable. Is that a word? Yeah, it's a word. I'm saying it's a word now.
Yeah.
It's almost inarguable now that like the celebration is certainly not as good as 300 million. But I definitely think you give your point. Speak, child.
No, I mean you are right. It is definitely undeniable that it is definitely a step down, but it doesn't make the celebration any less good. I feel
right.
It was still a good celebration at the end of the day. I feel,
and I think it was highly what's the word, underestimated. Considering, I mean, I can definitely say that my eyes have been opened up a little bit. Like directly comparing the two, I kind of didn't realize that there was actually this much content, I guess.
Yeah.
Before taking a look at it and especially comparing it to the other one. So I definitely think after analyzing it a little bit, it kind of makes me think a little bit more highly of this celebration for sure.
Do your research, kids.
Do your research. Do your homework. The Dokkan Wiki is free, bro, and they put in that work for it. So
exactly.
They're always doing good stuff. They're trying their best to archive modern day.
Yeah. I think we got I think we've shared our opinions, don't you think?
All I have to say is, bro, if we don't get Bye Guy Goku, Bye Guy Goku, Bye Guys Goku,
Bye Guy Goku,
Bye Guy Goku, Bye Guys Goku, and Spirit Bomb Goku at some point, bro, I'm gonna have a fit. That's all I gotta say.
Specifically the one where he turns Super Saiyan while he's like launching the Spirit Bomb, like the one that's right on my screen right now. Yeah, that one.
Yes.
Because, we did get the Super Spirit Bomb, but not the Super Saiyan Super Spirit Bomb.
Yes. Also, Ironically enough, I will say on that note before we dip out of here, it is sort of a high possibility because funny enough, the artwork used for Bye Guys Goku in that loading screen is nowhere else in the game. It's not the same artwork for the free-to-play one. The artwork is different. And the artwork used on the part 2 of this celebration, this particular Super Saiyan, Super Spirit Bomb, Super Duper Goku, is not actually any existing card that we have or in any essay, I believe.
I think. I'm not sure.
Regardless, though, it's definitely new.
Yeah.
So what I'm saying is, there's a chance.
Dokkan Fest with Goku, maybe?
Bro, I would be down. But nonetheless, though.
Dual Dokkan Fest with Bye Guys Goku?
Wait a minute. Bro, yeah, Fat Cell.
I guess, sure.
Yeah, I'd be down for that funny looking Fat Cell. But yeah, so that's gonna do from that. Moral of the story, this celebration underrated, still pretty good. I definitely hope though that above all else, Mr. Akatsuki knows to kind of keep his eye on what the community is looking for, because I think going forward they should not only take the community reception to this celebration, they should definitely take it into consideration. I hope that they do a survey for this. I'm sure that we'll talk about it in the news and an upcoming podcast if they do. But I also hope that they definitely take into consideration what people want to summon for in Dokkan Fest, because I honestly think that if they do, they'll have a happier fan base when it comes to a celebration. Because I will say, I don't really know who else they would have done. I mean, I guess the easy answer is just like Super Spirit Bomb Goku and Kid Buu dual Dokkan Fest. I almost feel like if they did that, the response and kind of lasting taste of the celebration on your tongue wouldn't have been as sour.
I can agree with that.
Yeah, if it wouldn't have been Super Vegito. So, just some food for thought on that one. The other thing that I did want to say before we go, this was actually something important that fell out of my head earlier that I did want to mention. Even though we are kind of hyper-analyzing this, one thing to keep in mind is the current world event.
Yeah.
We don't know if that had any impact on this particular celebration. It is definitely a possibility. I know there was some conversation about that, whether, that was the case or not. There's no way to truly confirm whether or not that is the case. There's no way to be like, yeah, that's why we had less content, because they had less time to work on it, or they're not in the office, or, whatever the case may be. But regardless, though, definitely keep that in mind, And I guess not to get a little bit sentimental or a little bit mushy on you here at the end, but keep in mind at the end of the day, behind behind all of these funny PNGs and character cards are other people too, and you got to remember they are human as well. They're going through the same hardships that we are right now.
Behind the multi-million-dollar corporation, there's the average worker doing his best.
Yes, exactly, bro. Now, that's not to, say that we shouldn't clown a Mr. Akatsuki who makes billions and billions from our hard-earned dollars. But I'm talking about the little guy,
Yeah.
The poor sap who had to draw Goku's ugly face in that LR.
Guy who had to draw Hercule slapping his...
Bro! I have to censor that. Huh?
My bad.
No.
My brain's small.
You're good. Anyway,
censor with a boo noise.
No, I'm just gonna silence it out. It's all good. Listen, we can't have Susan on. It's fine. The YouTube bot doesn't watch this far into the video anyway.
Dang, fair point.
But with that, that is going to do it for this episode of the podcast. Definitely let us know your thoughts on the celebration in the comments section below. We would love to hear them. Definitely let us know your thoughts as well, by the way. If you could, I would love a little bit of an experiment of your thoughts on the celebration before you listen to the podcast and afterward, because I think that you might have a little bit of a different perspective on the whole thing after listening to us talk for like an hour and 10 minutes now, because I know we certainly have a little bit of a different outlook on the whole thing now. Yeah,
we always want to know you guys' opinions at the end of the day.
Of course, and also the interaction in the comment section boosts the video. Wow.
Remember to like, comment, and subscribe. Hit the bell.
Shameless plug, Susan. I was gonna clown on her, but I couldn't think of a good one, so funny insult, insert that here. Thank you. And yeah, that is definitely about it. We will see you guys in 2 weeks. Stay safe out there, ladies and gentlemen. And from all of us here at the Extreme Z Podcast, we'll see you in the next one.
Take care, everyone.